Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, June the 14th, 2021. It is currently 11:02 a.m. Central Time, and this is my second live broadcast of the day. I just completed the first one, and I don't know if I did a good enough job. I felt a little frustrated by the time it was over, but hopefully it was beneficial. I was trying to offer a clarification, and I probably raised more questions than I did answers, which I'm very famous for doing. So I hope it was okay. The goal was to be here far earlier. I wanted to be here around 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning. And by now, I should have already had plenty of things done, but the thunderstorms in the area really prevented that. So I'm going to have to leave soon, but I'm going to try to get a couple of more things done really quick if I can. So I thought what we would do is we definitely need to do this. We need to go back to 2 Thessalonians. So go back to 2 Thessalonians. I'm verifying something here. Okay, yes, this is part 5. This is part 5 of our ongoing Bible study exercise on 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Now, the Bible study exercises are Bible study exercises where my goal is to move you from a passive listener to an active learner. I try to do some teaching, and then some of it I try to just hand it over to you for you to do your part. I try to teach it at times in a way like I don't have an answer, I don't know the answer, because I'm trying to get you to try to figure it out for yourself. So it's a unique way of doing Bible study. I think it's an interesting way. I think it's a great way, and some of you have responded positively to them, and I'm greatly appreciative of that. And I hope you're ready, because you're going to be doing all of the work on this one. You're going to be doing all of the work. All right. So let's remind ourselves. We're in 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians, I think if we look up the dating of the book, and you can verify this for yourself, all right, you're going to find that 2 Thessalonians is written somewhere in between 50 and 56 AD. Maybe between 50 and 57 AD. I'll throw kind of a beginning and starting point there for the date. Somewhere between 50 and 59 AD. Let's do that. Between 50 and 59 AD, you can go verify the dating. When I say verify the dating, look in multiple sources. You can use a study Bible. You can use commentaries, Bible dictionaries, and see if you can find a consensus on when it was written. But I think all of them are going to have it written somewhere in the 50s, 50 AD, all right, somewhere in the 50s. So that's very important. The dating of the book is going to be very important for trying to interpret this passage, and you're going to see why in just a minute, all right? So you work on that. Now, let's remind ourselves of what's going on. So 2 Thessalonians written somewhere in the 50s, all right? That's very important. Keep that in mind. Another very important thing, 2 Thessalonians, especially chapter 2, is being written by the Apostle Paul. In fact, it's Paul, Silas, and Timothy. If you look at 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 1, Paul, Silvanus, using the King James, and Timotheus. Those three are speaking unto the church of the Thessalonians, or the church in Thessalonica. So you have these individuals, these spiritual leaders, including Paul, speaking to the church at Thessalonica, and they've got some very important things that they need to discuss with them. And one of the most important issues is it appears that within the church at Thessalonica, there was lots of confusion and concern and worry and problems, all related to the doctrine of the second coming of Jesus Christ. There was all kinds of confusion. They were bothered. They were troubled. There were some negative things that were occurring in regards to how people were, what they were believing, and how they were responding to this doctrine of the second coming of Jesus Christ. So Paul, Silas, and Timothy try to resolve some of this. So let's remind ourselves, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Now, my review is going to be extremely quick here, all right? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now, some of you have emailed me and say you reviewed too much. The review is done on purpose for repetition so that you just have certain principles drilled into your head. I'll try to shorten them, but I am trying to do that on purpose as well. But 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now the we is Paul, Silas, and Timothy, beseech you. They're going to question them, pleading with them. They're going to speak to them. All right. Brethren, the brethren are the members of the congregation there in Thessalonica, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. We're going to plead with you, question you, interrogate you. We want you to listen. And because of the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, in regards to his coming, we're going to talk about the subject. And because he's coming, you need to listen and you need to understand some things. All right. Verse 2, when it comes to the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, they don't want them to be shaken, troubled, or deceived. You read this in verse 2, that you be not soon shaken in mind or troubled. In verse 3, let no man deceive you. So they don't want the people in Thessalonica, the people in the congregation at Thessalonica, to be shaken, troubled, or deceived in regards to the second coming. They don't want that to occur to them, all right? And they don't want this to happen. And it looks like that people were attempting to cause them to be deceived, shaken, and troubled in the following ways. By spirit, that people were possibly claiming to get a message from the Spirit of God in regards to the second coming. By word, people were teaching, or by a letter as from us. It appears possibly that, hey, even if someone has a letter that's supposedly from us, we don't want you to be confused. You need to know what to believe about the second coming. You need to know what to believe, why you believe it, and nothing should shake you or deceive you or move you from that understanding. All right, and so they're there to try to help them out. And how do they try to help them out? They want them to understand that that day, speaking of the coming of Christ, that the day of Christ coming back is not going to occur until certain things happen first. So, hey, don't get worried, don't get troubled. The day of Christ, he's not returning until certain things happen first. What are those things? The first one is the falling away or the apostasy. A great apostasy and falling away is going to have to occur. Second, the man of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition. The man of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition. And this man is going to oppose and exalt himself above all religion, all worship of any God, and he's going to walk into the temple of God, and he's going to basically proclaim himself to be God. Now, here is what I have for you today, all right? Now, we could do a little bit more work here, but I'm not going to do any more work here because I'm going to hand the rest over to you. Here is your assignment for today, all right? It's very simple. There's a system of eschatology known as preterism. Those who hold to that view are known as preterists. They believe most biblical prophecy, depending on the level of preterism you hold to, an extreme view or a moderate view, but that they believe either all or most of all biblical prophecy, speaking about the coming of Christ or any biblical prophecy, has been fulfilled in history, either in ancient Israel in the past, Babylonian captivity, Assyrian we can go through all the different captivities, something in the past there, or it was fulfilled in 70 AD with them coming in and destroying the temple and destroying Jerusalem and the Romans coming in and doing that. That somehow it was fulfilled in 70 AD, right? Now, I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but that's a pretty common idea of the preterist view. So when you get to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, a preterist will come in and say, hey, this is all leading and speaking to what happened in, say, 70 AD. This has already been fulfilled in the past. In some way, shape, or form, it's been fulfilled in the past. My challenge for you today is to figure out what is in this chapter that would argue that no, this wasn't fulfilled in the past. This wasn't fulfilled in 70 AD. It wasn't fulfilled in any other historical event. This has not been fulfilled yet, so we have to look to a future fulfillment. I want you to see what you can find in the text in 2 Thessalonians that would give you a clue. I don't think that has been fulfilled, right? Let me give you a couple of examples, all right? Or not, I'm not going to give you too many, just a number one. First, they said the first thing that has to happen is the falling away, the great apostasy. So did the great apostasy happen between 50, 55, 56, 57 AD, and 70 AD? All right. Has the great apostasy taken place in the past? Are we currently possibly experiencing the great apostasy, or we haven't even seen anything close to what is being referred to here? Right? So I think there's a clue there. I don't think there's any way to go from 54, 55, 56 AD to 70 AD and go, oh, okay, the great apostasy occurred, so this has already been fulfilled. Then what are we experiencing today? Right? So that I have a problem with that. Second, the son of the man of sin and the son of perdition. The man of sin and son of perdition. Has someone been revealed somewhere between 50, 55 AD and 70 AD that would meet all of the requirements of this person? Now, what I want you to do is you look carefully in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 at everything that describes the man of sin and son of perdition and ask yourself, wait a minute, I think it was that Roman emperor, or I think it was that king, or I think it was that individual. Okay. Try to see if you can find anything in the text where go, wait a minute, I don't think anyone meets this description, because there's some very specific things about this man of sin and son of perdition. Now, if you draw, and I want you to see what you can find in the text. This should not take you long. It's a simple study exercise. This is what I want you to do. One of the things you can do, grab a piece of paper, say, all right, man of sin, son of perdition. Write down everything that is a description of that man of sin and that son of perdition listed here in 2 Thessalonians 2. Every description. And then ask yourself, wait a minute, I don't think anyone fulfills that. There's no way. And if it hasn't been fulfilled, if you can scratch 70 AD off as a possibility, then is it future? And if it's future, then that begins to change your whole way of interpreting this. That would include that, okay, the apostasy hasn't happened yet. So that means the man of sin hasn't happened yet. So that means we, in the prophetic timeline, then we're not there yet. We're not there. These things have to happen first. All right? So then there's a lot more you could do, but I just want you to go through and determine, is there anything else here that would give you any clues that there's no way this has been fulfilled? What clues would you find? All right? Now, you can start with the great apostasy. You can start with the man of sin and son of perdition. If you have anything else in 2 Thessalonians 2 that you think is a clue that would say, no way, there's no way this happened in 70 AD. There's no way this was fulfilled in the past. Because, look, clearly, here's a couple of things. Now, from the text, obviously we can look up at the dating of the book, right? We can look up the dating of the book of 2 Thessalonians. We know it happens, it's written in the 50s. Now, if it's written in the 50s, and he's telling the members of the congregation there in Thessalonica, if he's telling them in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, hey, guys of the church and ladies and everyone who at the church at Thessalonica, I know you're worried and you're troubled about the coming of Christ, but we want you to know that it cannot happen until these things occur. That immediately eliminates anything prior to the writing of this book as being a possible fulfillment. Right? So that just eliminates that. Clearly, anything before the writing of this book doesn't fulfill this, because he would say it already happened. He didn't say it already happened. So for them in 50, 55 AD, it was future. All right. So if we're going to try to find a future fulfillment, does 70 AD work? That's the first one people may point to. If we eliminate 70 AD as a possible fulfillment, I don't think you have anything else to point to. And if you don't have anything else to point to, that means you have to interpret this as a future event that hasn't occurred as of yet. So what's your job? Your job is to look in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and look for everything that you think gives you a good idea that this was not fulfilled in 70 AD. All right? The great apostasy. Did it happen between 50 and 55 AD and 70 AD? If you say, no, I don't think that's there's no falling, that doesn't make any sense. All right. There would be clue number one. All right. The son of man, man of sin and son of perdition. I don't know why I keep doing that. Man of sin and son of perdition. If we look at all of the descriptions of this individual, there's no one that would fit that description in 70 AD. There's just no way. So that means it has to be someone who hasn't been revealed yet. And then you look for any other arguments that would prove that this did not happen in 70 AD. Now you say, why are you going to spend all of the time working on that? Because that's how you do good Bible study. You listen to other people's perspectives, and then you test those perspectives. You challenge yourself, because if those other perspectives are right, then change it. You say, well, I already know that perspective is wrong. I understand that. But you lay that knowledge aside when you study the text again, and you look at it anew, and you go, okay, wait, all right, this is what they say. Let me consider this. How is it even possible? Look for any possibility. Look for any possibility. Look for everything here in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 that would give you a clue that there's just no way this was fulfilled in 70 AD. Then it's future. And if it's future, then we've got to figure out exactly how it's going to play out. Correct? All right, I'll stop right there. I want to continue, but I just want to give you that very simple Bible study exercise today. Very simple, should not require a lot of work, but if you do it, I would love to see what you come up with. I'd love to see what you come up with. Now, if you come up with something and I'm like, I don't really know if that's a good evidence, don't get offended, okay? But I think it's something to definitely look at. All right, I'm going to stop right there. It's very simple, very straightforward. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Good luck, all right? Good luck. Why did I say that? I don't believe in luck, okay? Have a good time studying the scriptures. Have a good time investigating this. So I'm not going to say good luck because I don't believe in luck. So may God bless you as you study his word. That would be a more theologically sound way and sound thing to say. All right. But hopefully you understood what I meant. All right. Everyone have a great day. God bless.